The glass slipped from Marcus Thornton's hand, shattering against the marble floor. Shards scattered like frozen raindrops. He didn't flinch. 40 floors below, the city pulsed with life, oblivious to the private storm in the penthouse. Marcus knelt, careful, picking up fragments, staring at the photograph. His wife's smile stared back at him, warm, alive, haunting. He pressed the photo to his chest, inhaling memories he could no longer touch. "Dad?" Marcus's head snapped up. Emma stood in the doorway, tense and silent. The cochlear implant behind her ear caught the morning light, a small silver crescent reminding him of what he'd lost and what he hadn't reached in years. "I didn't mean to break it," he said, voice cracking. "Are you okay?" She nodded once, precise. Her eyes flicked away. That nod carried more weight than anger ever could. Marcus signed awkwardly, "Are you scared?" Her eyes met his briefly, then turned away. She signed slowly. "Tired. Tired." That word weighed more than the shattered glass. He exhaled. "All right, sleep. Later we can talk." She didn't answer. She never did anymore. Breakfast was a disaster. Marcus burned the toast, spilled orange juice, signed good morning rigidly. Emma barely looked at him. Billions of dollars. Global influence. Yet he couldn't reach her. "Street fair," he said, forcing casualness. "An hour. Exposure therapy. We can leave any time." She stiffened. "I won't drag you," he added. She signed sharply. "Why?" Marcus hesitated. "Therapist thinks it could help." She scoffed, grabbed her bag. The city roared outside as they drove. Emma leaned against the window, headphones useless around her neck. She used to sing on car rides, off-key but fearless. Now she pretended not to hear the world. The street fair was chaos. Children darted between tents, music bounced from speakers, vendors shouted. Marcus stayed close, hyper-aware. His phone buzzed. Ignored. Buzzed again. He exhaled. "1 second," he muttered, pointing to a bench. "Stay here." Emma nodded absent-mindedly. Minutes later, Marcus finished the call. Contracts, acquisitions, mergers, all meaningless in that moment. He turned back. The bench was empty. "Emma?" Panic rose. "Emma!" He pushed through the crowd, heart hammering. Then he saw her. By the fountain's edge, she sat still. Across from her, leaning against a brick wall, a boy with a guitar played. Marcus slowed. The boy looked no older than 16. His hoodie was faded, jeans frayed. But his posture, calm, grounded, alive, drew Marcus in. The boy sang softly, eyes closed, expression alive. Emma leaned forward, transfixed. Then Marcus saw it, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. Marcus froze. He couldn't remember the last time she cried. Not really. He listened. The voice was raw, haunting, achingly beautiful. An old melody his wife had hummed to Emma. The notes slipped under defenses, twisting memories with the present. The boy opened his eyes, meeting Emma's gaze. He didn't stop singing. His hands moved, expressions exaggerated, every motion a message. When the song ended, Emma didn't move. Marcus stepped forward, dropping a $100 bill into the open guitar case. The boy froze. "I don't need charity," he said softly. Sorry," Marcus stammered. The boy glanced at Emma. "But if you want, I can sing another song. For her." Emma stood, moving closer, signing slowly. "I can't hear you, but I see you." The boy's face softened. "I'm Jamie," he said. "I'll sing however you want." Emma laughed, silent, bright, real. Marcus felt a spark inside him ignite, hope he hadn't dared feel in 3 years. Jamie strummed again. Emma leaned forward, fully engaged. Marcus watched from a few feet away, heart hammering. In that moment, the world outside didn't exist. All that existed was this bridge, between his daughter and life returning through music. And for the first time since the accident, Marcus dared to believe they had a chance. Already hooked? Like, comment, and subscribe, because what happens next will completely change their lives. Marcus's phone buzzed relentlessly as he led Emma away from the fountain, but he didn't answer. Not now. Not while she sat transfixed, her fingers fidgeting nervously in her lap, eyes locked on the boy who had just shattered 3 years of silence with a single song. Jamie's guitar case lay open, a few bills scattered inside. He strummed softly again, hesitating as he noticed Marcus approaching. "Stop," Marcus said quickly, raising a hand. "Don't stop for me." Jamie blinked, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I sing for her, not you." Emma's eyes brightened. She leaned forward, signing rapidly, her hands trembling. "I like this. Don't stop." Marcus crouched beside her. His throat was tight. "She said she likes it," he murmured. Jamie laughed quietly, the sound carrying warmth. "Then I'll sing. But you, stay quiet. Just watch." For a full 10 minutes, Jamie sang as if the world had narrowed to only the fountain, Emma, and himself. Every chord vibrated through the air, and Emma placed her hand on the stone edge of the fountain, trying to feel the rhythm, the heartbeat of the music. Her small fingers trembled, but she didn't pull away. Marcus couldn't remember ever seeing her like this. Not smiling, not engaged, not alive in the way that mattered. The girl in front of him wasn't just listening, she was feeling, and for Marcus, it was the most profound sound he had ever experienced. When the last note faded, Jamie leaned back, breathing hard. "I should go," he said quietly, almost reluctantly. "No," Marcus said, instinct sharper than thought. "Wait. Just talk to me for a second." Jamie's eyes narrowed slightly. "Why?" Marcus looked at Emma, her hands still pressed to the fountain, eyes wide and wet. "Because you just did something I couldn't do in 3 years. You made her feel. You gave her hope." Jamie hesitated. Silence stretched, heavy, almost unbearable. Then he nodded slowly. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," Marcus said quickly. "I just want you to come to our house. Sing for her again. Tomorrow. If you want, I'll pay you. Not charity, payment, professional." Jamie's eyebrows rose. "Payment?" Marcus swallowed. "Yes, because what you did for her, it matters more than you think, more than anything I've ever bought. I want her to feel this again, and I think you can help." Emma's hands flitted together, signing frantically. "Please, come. Tomorrow." Jamie looked at her, then back at Marcus. He studied their faces as if weighing a secret. Finally, he said, "All right. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. Bus. Where?" Marcus wrote down the address carefully, handing it to him. Jamie folded it neatly, tucked it into his hoodie pocket, and slung his guitar case over his shoulder. "I'll be there," he said, voice quiet but resolute. Emma's face lit up with a smile that Marcus hadn't seen in years. She waved shyly. Jamie waved back, and for the first time, Marcus felt like he had glimpsed a bridge between them, a bridge built on sound, expression, and raw, unpolished talent. As Jamie disappeared into the crowd, Marcus knelt beside Emma. "Do you know what just happened?" he asked softly. Emma shook her head, eyes shining. She signed, "Something amazing." Marcus exhaled, a rare smile tugging at his lips. Yes, it was. And tomorrow, we see more." The rest of the day passed slowly, but Marcus's mind was already racing. He called his assistant and instructed her to prep the house, garden cleared, music room ready. He didn't care about contracts, meetings, or the stock market anymore. All that mattered was tomorrow. That night, Marcus sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker. Emma slept quietly in her room. He replayed every note Jamie had sung, every expression, every tiny hand gesture Emma had made, the way her lips had quivered in silent laughter and awe. This could be it, he whispered to himself. This could actually be it. Outside, a faint breeze carried the echo of a guitar string he couldn't hear but somehow felt in his chest. It was hope, fragile and bright, and Marcus knew one thing. This boy, this stranger, had already changed everything. If you're hooked by Emma and Jamie's first meeting, like, comment, and subscribe now, because the next chapter will take you deeper into a story that will make you cry, laugh, and cheer all at once. The next afternoon, a gray bus hissed to a stop in front of Marcus Thornton's mansion. Jamie stepped off carefully, guitar slung over his back, hoodie pulled tight against the wind. He paused for a moment, looking up at the massive structure, glass walls, polished stone, gardens that seemed to stretch forever. He swallowed, uncertain. Marcus was already waiting by the driveway, his suit slightly rumpled, hands in his pockets. Emma hovered beside him, her small frame tense with excitement. She clutched a notebook she had scribbled in for the past week, full of words, phrases, and sketches of songs she wanted to hear with her heart. Jamie's eyes narrowed, scanning the scene. "This is a lot," he said quietly. Marcus smiled. "You get used to it. The important thing is, you're here for her. Just for her." Emma waved shyly. Jamie's gaze softened as she took a tentative step forward, signing slowly. "Thank you for coming." Jamie crouched slightly to meet her eye level. "I'm Jamie," he said softly, strumming a chord on the guitar. The sound vibrated faintly through the stone beneath her fingers. Emma placed her hand carefully on the guitar body, feeling the pulse, the beat, the vibration. Her eyes widened. Marcus watched from a distance, heart hammering. In those small, silent exchanges, he could see the invisible wall around his daughter starting to crack. Jamie smiled. "We'll do this slowly. You don't have to hear to feel it. Watch me. Feel the rhythm. Let your heart listen." For the next hour, the mansion's garden became a private concert hall. Jamie played, Emma listened, and touched the guitar, tracing vibrations through her fingers. Each song was a bridge, connecting their worlds without words. Marcus felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. His daughter's first genuine emotions in years, sparked by a boy no one expected to change anything. After the session, Jamie leaned back, sweat glistening on his forehead. "That was amazing," he said, exhaling. "She's special." Emma signed quickly. "You are amazing. Thank you." Marcus stepped forward. "You've got talent," he said, "and you have a gift for her that's more important than you know." Jamie shrugged, modest, hiding the pride that Marcus could see shining in his eyes. I've sung for people before. Never like this. Never felt like it mattered." Marcus hesitated, then offered an idea. "I want you to come here 3 times a week. For her. I'll provide meals, a place to clean up, whatever you need." Jamie's eyes narrowed. I don't want to take charity." "You're not taking charity," Marcus said firmly. "You're being part of something important. You'll be paid." Jamie considered, then slowly nodded. "All right, but I'm not moving in. I keep my pride." Emma grinned. She signed, "This is perfect." Over the next few weeks, the sessions became ritual. Jamie arrived on his bus, guitar in hand, greeted by Emma's laughter and growing confidence. She began to hum softly, feel rhythms in her chest, scribble notes of lyrics and sketches inspired by their time together. Marcus watched from the window, amazed at the transformation. His daughter was alive again, her walls crumbling, her spirit returning. But the outside world wasn't as forgiving. Marcus's mother, visiting one afternoon, scowled at Jamie. "You brought a homeless boy around my granddaughter?" Marcus bristled. "He's no ordinary boy. He's helping her feel again, something no one else has managed in 3 years." His mother shook her head, muttering, "This is absurd, dangerous." Marcus squared his shoulders. No, this is hope, something you clearly don't understand. Jamie, observing quietly, felt a pang in his chest. He hadn't expected judgment. But with Emma, he felt purpose. With Marcus, respect. For the first time in months, he felt safe being himself without hiding on the streets. One afternoon, Jamie handed Emma a notebook. Inside were song lyrics he had written over the past weeks, inspired by her. She traced each word with trembling fingers, signing, "You're teaching me to hear with my heart." Jamie smiled, a rare, unguarded grin. He strummed a chord. "You already do." Marcus watched, realizing that in helping his daughter heal, he had unknowingly helped another lost soul find a reason to keep going. If this connection between Emma and Jamie is already giving you chills, hit like, comment, and subscribe, because what happens next will bring tension, surprise, and tears you won't forget. Weeks passed, and the mansion echoed with music, laughter, and small victories. Jamie arrived 3 times a week, each session stretching Emma's world a little further. She laughed openly, scribbled notes, and began humming along, tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. Marcus watched from the windows, heart swelling. But not everyone celebrated the transformation. One afternoon, Marcus's mother arrived unannounced, arms crossed and expression icy. "I still can't understand why you brought a homeless stranger around, Emma," she said sharply, eyes flicking to Jamie. Marcus's jaw tightened. "He isn't a stranger. He's helping her. Something no therapist, no technology, not even money could do in 3 years." His mother huffed. "A boy from the streets? You're exposing her to who knows what. You could be reckless." Emma, hiding behind her notebook, felt a pang of anxiety. Jamie noticed, resting a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry," he said softly. "I'm here for her. That's all that matters." Marcus met Jamie's eyes. "Exactly." Despite the tension, their sessions continued. Jamie taught Emma to feel the music through vibrations, expressions, and the subtle rhythm of his strumming. Emma, in turn, taught Jamie a new form of connection, her silent language of signs, gestures, and expressive eyes. They developed a system. He sang, she felt, she watched, she learned. Over time, Jamie began revealing pieces of his own story. He scribbled notes in a small notebook, passing it to Emma between songs. He had lost his mother to cancer when he was 14, aged out of foster care, and survived the streets ever since. He sang for money but dreamed of music school, though talent alone wasn't enough. Emma read silently, then signed to him. "You've survived so much. You're amazing." Jamie's lips curved into a small, proud smile. "It doesn't feel amazing when you're on the streets, but with you it feels purposeful." Marcus, observing from a distance, felt a rush of gratitude. He had hired the best therapists, invested in every high-tech device. Yet nothing touched Emma like Jamie's music, and Jamie, despite his pride, was quietly opening his heart, teaching both father and daughter something they had lost long ago. Trust, connection, hope. But the scrutiny from the outside world persisted. Business associates whispered. Family questioned Marcus's judgment. "You're letting a street kid inside your home? What about security? What about propriety?" One colleague sneered during a board meeting. Marcus stood firm. "I don't measure value in money alone. You can't buy the things that matter most: connection, healing, authenticity. Jamie brings that to Emma. That's worth far more than anything on a balance sheet." Meanwhile, Jamie continued opening up to Emma through his notebook. He revealed that his mother had been a session singer who died of cancer, that he had no other family, and that he had been saving money for music school, but was far from reaching his goal. Emma listened, eyes shining, fingers tracing words carefully, signing back. "You're teaching me to hear with my heart." Marcus watched the subtle transformations. Emma's laughter now reached her eyes, not just her lips. She reached for experiences, explored sounds, even tried to hum the faintest notes. Jamie's presence brought life back into the mansion. He accepted Marcus's offers for meals and clean clothes, but refused to live inside the house, insisting on maintaining his independence. Yet the connection between them deepened, unspoken, but powerful. One evening, after a long session, Jamie strummed a soft melody, his eyes on Emma. "You're ready for more," he said, not just feeling music but expressing it. Emma placed her small hand on the guitar again, feeling vibrations run through her fingertips. She smiled, wide and unguarded. "I want to learn everything," she signed. Marcus, watching from the window, felt a lump in his throat. In teaching Emma, Jamie had healed a wound that money, technology, and therapy could not touch. And in return, Emma had given Jamie a purpose beyond survival. As the sun set over the mansion, casting long golden shadows across the garden, Marcus knew one truth. Sometimes the people you least expect, those cast aside by society, bring the greatest gifts. And sometimes the smallest hearts teach the biggest lessons. If you're moved by Emma and Jamie's growing bond, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, because the story is about to take a shocking turn that will leave you speechless. 2 weeks later, the mansion's garden was alive with subtle festivity. Balloons swayed gently, soft music whispered through hidden speakers, and the scent of fresh flowers mingled with the crisp air. It was Emma's 13th birthday, and Marcus had kept it small, just family, Jamie, and a few close friends. Emma stood by the fountain, notebook clutched tightly in her hands. She had one request: Jamie had to be there. Jamie arrived on his usual bus, guitar slung across his back, eyes scanning the garden. When he saw Emma, she ran to him, signing frantically. "I'm ready." He smiled, kneeling to her level. "You ready for this?" he asked softly. Emma nodded. "Yes." The party began quietly. Guests mingled politely, exchanging smiles and muted conversations. Emma and Jamie moved to a corner of the garden, away from the small crowd. Jamie handed her his notebook, the collection of songs and lyrics he had written over the past weeks, each inspired by her. Emma's eyes shimmered with tears as she read. She looked up at him, hands trembling. Then, in a moment that stunned everyone, she began to hum, a soft, imperfect melody her mother had sung to her years ago. Her voice wavered, catching on each note, but Jamie encouraged her with patient strums and gentle smiles. Marcus felt a lump in his throat. He had waited years for this. The sound, though faint, was pure. Emma's small voice carried memory, grief, and hope all at once. The guests watched, silent, captivated. Even Marcus's mother's eyes glistened. Emma's music and Jamie's accompaniment created something no wealth, no therapy, no technology had ever managed: genuine, shared emotion. When the song ended, the garden erupted in applause. Emma's face was radiant. Jamie looked at Marcus. "She's amazing," he said simply. Marcus smiled, proud and overwhelmed. Then he made an announcement that stunned the few guests. He was establishing a music scholarship fund in his late wife's name, supporting young musicians with talent and hardship. Jamie would be the first recipient, a full scholarship to Berklee College of Music. Jamie's smile faltered. He swallowed hard, voice low. I have to tell you something." The crowd quieted, sensing a weight in his words. Jamie took a deep breath. "I'm not homeless because I have nowhere to go. My father, wealthy, estranged, found me after my mother passed. He offered me money, a mansion, a prestigious school, but he wanted me to study business, not music." Gasps rippled through the guests. Marcus's eyebrows shot up. Jamie's voice cracked. "I chose the streets. I chose to honor my mother's memory, to follow my dreams. I was about to give up and call him when I met Emma. Emma reached for his hand, signing, "You saved yourself, too." Tears ran freely down Jamie's cheeks. "You both saved me. From betraying everything my mother believed in. You showed me I could have dreams and security." Marcus swallowed, stunned. "You chose this?" Jamie nodded. "Authenticity. That's worth more than everything else." 6 months later, a text scroll captured their transformation. Jamie was thriving at music school, returning monthly to sing for Emma. Emma excelled in school, pursued art openly, and communicated freely. Marcus had reconnected with his daughter and found a new purpose. The scholarship fund had helped 50 young musicians. Jamie had reconciled with his father on his own terms. In the garden, Jamie strummed a new melody while Emma placed her hand on the guitar. She signed slowly. "I still can't hear the music, but I finally understand it." Marcus watched, smiling, heart full. The city beyond the mansion's walls pulsed with life, but inside, 3 souls had found what mattered most: connection, authenticity, and hope. Jamie strummed the final chord. Emma signed, "Thank you." Marcus added softly, "We've all found our music again." The camera would have zoomed out, capturing 3 figures bathed in golden light: father, daughter, and the boy who chose authenticity over comfort. Their laughter and music echoed into the evening, unbroken and eternal. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because stories like these remind us that real wealth isn't money, it's connection. And the next story could inspire you too.